Morning, come on in, come on in. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. We're going to get started here in just 1 second. I am sharing on Twitter and Periscope, so give me just a moment. Please tag and share. Come on in. Say hello in the comments. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining me. Good morning and welcome to the Money Matters Morning Show, where we talk all things faith, finances, and the freedom of good credit. And I'm your host, Nefateria Robinson, and I'm a life coach as well as an author. And I help professionals to raise their credit score so they can buy the things that they want. And so today we're talking about how medical bills impact basically about 52% of most collections that's reported are medical bills. So I'm going to talk about the things that you can kind of do to prevent medical bills from ever even appearing on your credit. And it's about really understanding your insurance process and things of that nature. So from some research I read on, if I found out that a single unpaid medical bill could result in possibly 100 points on your credit report or affect your credit score. So that is something to be mindful. Good morning, Manuel. How are you? Be mindful of your credit score. And like I said, most reported collections is it's about 52% that's medical bills. That's mostly reported into collections. So when you happen to get a medical bill, don't ignore the bill. Sometimes it comes in like a form of an explanation of benefits, the EOB. And if you get a bill that's $89 and you're unsure of why you're receiving this bill, contact the provider and say, hey, I got this bill from you guys and I want to understand, I have insurance. Why did I receive this bill? And, don't let it go to collections. Find out if it's more than $89. Hey, Regina, how are you? Work out some type of payment plan with the provider to prevent it from going to collections and make sure you're sticking to whatever payment plan that you arrange with them as well. So let's talk about some of the tips you can do to avoid medical bills going to collections at all. First of all, you need to understand your health insurance. You want to need to understand the coverage, what's covered, what's not. If you have a deductible, what's your co-insurance, if it's in network or if it's out of network. And I have some knowledge of, how health insurance work because I used to work for a health insurance provider and I was in customer service. So providers will call to find out if if the patient was covered, and also then the patients also will call to find out what was covered, what do they plan to cover as far as whatever procedures they was looking for, what might have been covered at 100% or what might have been covered at 80%, 70%, and so forth. So like I said, before you select certain procedures or before you go to the doctor, if you have an opportunity, call the provider also, or you can call the customer service line for your health insurance and find out what your benefits are. They will take the time and to explain them how they work. They will let you know if you have a deductible, what that deductible is. They will let you know what your co-insurance is. Sometimes you've heard like they're responsible for 70, you're responsible for 30, or they're responsible for 80%, you're responsible for 20%. That's the co-insurance part. You can find out if that's in network or out of network. When you call a provider, you ask them, say, hey, I have this insurance. Are you taking new patients? Do you take this insurance? Are you in network with this insurance? In network is going to save you significantly compared to out of network providers. Some providers have in network and out of network information, on their system. Log in, learn it. Utilize the tools that they're giving you to educate you on your health insurance plan so that you can make wise decisions when you have to go to the doctor. Some health insurance providers even have nurse lines where you can call and they can kind of help you through it until you could possibly get an appointment with your doctor, even if that even happens to be necessary. So just educate yourself on your plan to kind of also help you to avoid, possible medical bills, or you avoid them possibly even having to go to collections as well. So like I said, if you go to the doctor and you get a bill, you need to contact them. You need to, like I said, find out and understand why are you being billed. If you have insurance, what wasn't covered, at what percentage that's covered. So like customary, how can I explain this? So like for instance, if you go to an in-network doctor, he normally charges $100 per procedure. He might have negotiated with your provider that he would take $80 instead of his normal $100, which basically is going to write off that $20. And then your health insurance may only pay 10% of that and you're responsible for 90 maybe, or something like that. Or they pay 90% and you're responsible for 10%, which means you'll be responsible for $8 of that. And if you are responsible for that, then you need to pay that bill once you get it. Don't ignore that bill at all. If you get the bill, just contact the provider and just understand. Ask the questions that you need to ask for them to make them or help them to understand. Hey, Sherry, how are you, hon? So you can understand, why you're receiving the bill. I'm a firm believer in communication in all aspects of life. And the more you communicate and find out from your health insurance, if you don't understand your plan, or if you talk to the provider and find out why you're being charged, good morning, Karen, how are you? Then you can deal with it and not try to prevent it from going to collections. Also, if you have a larger medical bill, you can make payment arrangements. But if you make a payment arrangement, make sure you stick to it. So that being said, you may need to have a money plan, aka budget, so you'll know that if you make this arrangement, that don't say you can pay $200 a month and you can't, because then you're right back where you started. Make sure that if you do negotiate some type of payment plan, it is a payment plan that you can stick to and you can work, that is worked into your budget already. Also, if you do happen to have to pay any medical bills, make sure you keep all documentations. Hey, Mr. Les on Periscope, all documentations, any receipts or anything like that that proves that you paid that bill, because for whatever reason, if it happens to show up that you didn't pay it, you have proof to show that you did pay it, and you can submit that to the credit bureaus to reverse that negative impact that it may have on your credit if they reported it in error. Also, make sure you pull your credit report regularly. Annualcreditreport.com allows you to get your credit report free annually. So make sure you're pulling it annually and you're checking it, checking for any negative items, checking for things that, you didn't purchase or whatever. Somebody might have got your name. You might have had identity theft or anything of that nature. Just make sure you're checking your credit report on a consistent and regular basis. So like I said, if you have insurance, you still may get a bill because you maybe have a portion of it that you have to pay, a 20% portion, or sometimes we go to the emergency room because we feel like we're going to get better care or we're going to get healed faster. But if your health provider not provider, but if your insurance don't define what you think of as emergency, you could have a healthy bill from going to the emergency room for something that they don't consider an emergency. So make sure you educate yourself on your plan. That's what those customer service reps are for. That's what the online documentation is for. And call them and ask every question you need to ask. If you know you get ready to have a procedure, find out if it's covered at 100%. Find out if it's only covered at 70%. Find out if you have to have a deductible. Find out if you reached your deductible. And if you haven't, then how much of this bill you have to pay before the coinsurance phase kicks in. And when I say coinsurance, meaning that the insurance may pay 80%, but you may be responsible for 20%. But you may have a $500 deductible, and you may not have reached that yet. You may have only paid $300. Good morning, Jodis Designs on Periscope. You might have only reached $300 of that $500 deductible, and if you get a $1,000 bill, you automatically got paid $200 of it because you haven't reached your deductible yet before the insurance will even kick in. So just make sure you educate yourself. Make sure that for whatever reason, if you get a letter, don't ignore it. Call them. Find out what's going on. Find out why you got this medical bill. Like I said, I work with people that are trying to raise their credit score, and I came across medical bills that were very small. But if you had to just address the letters when you received them, or contacted the provider, or understood how your medical insurance worked, you may not have had a bill going collections for less than $100. So those are the things I want y'all to avoid. Some things happen, you get unemployed, something happens, and you can't help but have some medical bills go into collections. But if you're thankfully still working and, you do have extra money in your budget, because I know y'all entertain and y'all eat out like me, then try to avoid the medical bills actually going into collections. When you get the bill, review it. Call your health insurance and say, hey, I got this bill from my provider or my doctor's office. Am I responsible for it? Or if I'm not, or how much I am responsible for, are y'all going to take care of it? I need y'all to take care of it because I don't want it going to collections while they're trying to wait for payment from you guys, if it is totally all of the insurance's responsibility. So y'all can catch me here every weekday morning, Monday through Friday, on the Money Matters Morning Show, where we talk all things faith, finances, and the freedom of good credit. If you happen to have any questions about saving, budgeting, or credit, please email your question to bit.ly/asknefr. Thank you for the heart love on Periscope. I truly appreciate it. So if you have any questions, feel free to do that as well. I also have a Create Your Life Vision Board workshop coming up on Saturday, October the 7th at 10 a.m. So if you are in the Durham Triangle Raleigh area, please reach out to me and I'll get you the information about that. Any questions thus far? Please tag, please share. I do truly, truly, truly appreciate your time and joining me for this morning. Karen, did you get your book? I know that's random, but Karen is one of the members of the E-League, which is an entrepreneur organization that supports, helps, and encourages entrepreneurs by creating an environment that empowers, educates, and elevates them so they can grow their business. So that is here locally in the Durham area. So if you're interested in that as well, you can also reach out to me. All right, thank you for joining me. And remember, owe no man nothing but to love him, for he that have loved it has fulfilled the law. Y'all all have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye.